Scotty, welcome. This is a bit like the truth couch, but it's a great chance to talk to you about your career, and there are some fantastic moments along the way. I want to rewind the clock back to the very beginning for you, because it's fair to say your parents were a big influence on your career, and many fans watching may not realise that both your dad and your mum were keen karters, weren't they?
Yeah, they were, and Mum always saying Dad will disagree, but she was the better driver. I got my driving from my mum, but yeah, it's definitely in my blood. But it was never forced on me. It was a hobby for them, and it was a hobby for me when I started. But yeah, it's definitely stemmed from them and their association before I was born.
So the Kart Club in Hamilton puts on a display at the Hamilton Car Show, and a 6-year-old Scott McLaughlin, correct me if I'm wrong here, is drawn to it. What happens next?
I don't know, it was weird. I remember my dad saying to me, you know, this is what we used to do, and I was like, oh, I'm keen. And then the guy goes to us, you know, there's have a go day the next day. Went out, and I loved it straight away and took to it like duck to water. And it's a weird thing, but the kart that I bought had number 33 on it when I rolled out the trailer, and that's what we stuck with, and that so happened to be my first ever V8 Supercar main game number as well.
Nice, cool follow-on story to that Mum and Dad found that actual kart and restored it for your 21st birthday, is that right?
Yeah, they did. They restored it and got it back to, you know, in some way, shape or form of how it sort of had been raced. It had been through some previous owners since then, but to have it back to where it was and the actual kart, me and Dad will one day get back to restoring it properly, but it's definitely on its way at the moment.
The karting gets to the stage for you where you're away racing something like 40 weekends out of a possible 52, and you make the decisions to pursue the dream, to leave school, and you go off and get an apprenticeship. Are you still a pretty handy fabricator?
Yeah, I think I am. And a lot of people probably debate that, but it was something that if nothing happened with my driving side, I wanted to be able to have a trade that I could still do motorsport with and be a part of V8 Supercars, because I just love the racing and the team sport of it. And yeah, you know, the fabricating was a great side of it, and I did some pretty bad things and stuffed up many times, but I feel like I contributed a bit along my way as well.
You finished that fabrication apprenticeship at Gary Rogers Motorsport. Did you fix a few cars along the way in the early part of your career?
I fixed a lot of my Enduro Co drivers, Alex Premer from memory, but you know, it all helped learning, and I felt like it gave me a sense of understanding of how much the boys work and how much they put into it, and it's something that you know, will stick for me throughout my whole career, and I'm glad I did it.
When you look at the CV, there's things like Mini Challenge and a little bit of state-level Formula Ford, but unlike some of your contemporaries, you didn't pursue a massive Formula Ford campaign to get to where you are now, did you?
No, that was a family decision. We lost someone that we knew quite well from go-karting in New Zealand. Michael McHugh, he lost his life tragically, and for us it was someone that Dad said to me didn't really want me to race Formula Ford. So he was happy when I jumped in the Mini Challenge, but I had to do a couple of Formula Ford races to get my licence to go supercar racing, and he wasn't too happy about it, but it was a decision that, you know, we ultimately made, and it's obviously paid off.
First Supercars test for you was Queensland Raceway, I think 2009. What were your first impressions of these beasts that everyone sort of aspires to?
Oh, it was a dream come true. I remember December 17, 2009, I remember the date, the time, and the weather I would know, and it was something that I'll never forget, rolling out of the pits, and you know, just turning the pit speed limiter off and feeling the power. And I remember going through 1 and 2 at Queensland Raceway. I'm like, all right, I'm only half throttle, I'm going to give it a bit, and I absolutely crapped my pants. I was like, I put the full throttle, and it was just the power of it, and being able to flat shift and all that stuff. It was just stuff that I'd watched growing up, and I'm like, holy cow, I'm actually doing this. I'm doing what all my heroes done, Greg had done, Murph had done. It was a very emotional, cool day.
You met Greg Murphy at, I want to say, at the height of his Bathurst reign in 2003 or 2004, and you were a 10-year-old cadet,
yeah.
He tells me at the time. What sort of influence did he have?
He had a massive influence. I mean, I remember him coming and staying at my house, and we were lucky to have quite a close relationship with Greg, and he was just someone that he inspired to. I loved the drive. He was such a fierce competitor and such a cool role model. He's always good with me and signed whatever I wanted to be signed. But to then now move on and be a mate of his, or he's a mate of mine, and it's pretty special and something that not many people get to have as your hero as a mate. And he's definitely influenced me in a way that I think with the fans, I feel like I learned a lot off him to give time back to them, and that was all due to how Murph treated me as a young kid.
2010, you make your Dunlop Series debut, Queensland Raceway, and then you competed at Bathurst for the first time in that series the same year. But looking back on it, they were both character-building races, weren't they?
So here's the pressure. McLaughlin, 16 years of age, first time on a front row of a V8 Supercar. It's just his second ever race. Can he get it away from the grid? No, he doesn't. He goes nowhere. And Owen Kelly slams into the Fujitsu Falcon.
Absolutely. I mean, still on the grid for the first time and getting rammed isn't good, and then crashing at Bathurst the first time. And
oh, McLaughlin, he's off the road. That is at Reed Park.
And he's hit the wall hard, I reckon, Aaron, there. Yeah, big
no steering.
Hit. Poor young guy. We're just saying what a great job he's doing. I mean, this is a huge effort to hang on to one of these cars when you're so young without having ever been here before, and unfortunately it looks like he may have got it wrong.
So the safety car makes its second appearance, and the youngest ever V8 Supercar driver at Bathurst has been bitten by the mountain.
Looking back, I wish I'd maybe done a little bit more of, outside the public eye racing and away, doing race starts and whatever. Where the Kumo series probably would have come in handy for me at this stage, but that wasn't around at that time, and I don't regret what I've done, and I understand where I've got, but I wish I'd maybe just taken a little bit of a chill pill, but it's worked out.
Pencil this one in. This is a young gun going places, and it's win number 1 for Scott McLaughlin.
Yeah. Good job, boys. Yeah.
Great job from the 18-year-old.
Well done, Scotty. You deserve that, mate.
12 months later, you win your first race at Queensland Raceway. And 2012, you win the title in what was a mega year for the Dunlop Super 2 Series. Nick Percat, Chaz Mostert, Scotty Pye, just to name a few. I mean, that must have been huge.
Scott McLaughlin for Fujitsu Racing, the 19-year-old Gold Coast-based Kiwi, has done it. He's become the youngest champ.
Awesome job, Scotty McLaughlin. Well done.
Yeah, it was, and it was fierce competition. And I wouldn't say I was probably the fastest car that whole year, but I'd say I was the most consistent. And we had an aim of let's just finish 4th every race, or keep our average finish to 4th, and we did, and we ended up winning the championship by 27 points or something. And it was a race. We won races when we needed to, and we finished races in 4th or whatever when we needed to as well. And that really shaped my career and who I am. And I felt like it helped me mature a lot further before, I jumped to the main game. And I think that Super 2 Series is amazing for that.
But McLaughlin becomes the youngest ever Dunlop Series champ. Might need a new roof for this Fujitsu Ford at the end of these celebrations, though. He's had a stunning day.